sadly, it was seen that, you know, of all the members of this team, or the multinational joint task force, the member that has been affected the most by this crisis has been Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's correct to say so.
Very correct.
And one of the reasons why the multinational joint task force was formed was because we found out that when, you know, we had the military trying to rout Boko Haram in Nigeria, they ran to other neighboring countries. And we thought it would be nice if all the, you know, surrounding countries can come together and, you know, and help rout out this you know, menace. The question is, why do you think that Boko Haram has been so potent in Nigeria, especially in the northeast region, but not as loud as we have heard it in Nigeria in our neighboring countries?
Well, I think that question is not far-fetched, really. I mean, going back to history of Boko Haram itself, if you've done a little study on it, you realize that Boko Haram actually started in Nigeria. They had a base initially in the around 1999, somewhere in Yobe State, Kanama, and of course, with the internal operations that were conducted at the time, they were routed, and then they moved to Maiduguri. And then over the years, they grew from, you know, a little group of what you may call, you know, agitators with some, you know, if you like, funny ideology, to what gave rise to, you know, the issues that you know of in 2009, and then all the related issues that eventually turned to the violence that we now find. So if all the impact or the greater potential of the impact has been on Nigeria, then of course you should understand the basis. Also, the leadership, the key leadership structure of Boko Haram, a good number of them are Nigerians. The affiliation to ISIS, West Africa, of course, that is for perhaps some form of relevance and for other support. But within the structure itself, Boko Haram structure itself, is largely a Nigerian issue.
Why do they find Nigeria conducive and not these other countries?
Well, the issue of ungoverned spaces have existed, not only in Nigeria, but of course, you know, the countries of the Chad Basin. But more importantly, within the Nigerian space, there are, you know, very fertile ungoverned spaces that have given rise to they more or less wielding some form of influence. But again, that has been taken out. And this is the reason why access to the Lake Chad Islands is very critical to us. So ensuring that they no longer, at no time should they ever have the time and the space to be able to exercise the kind of influence that we saw some years back. So that's what we're working on, and we believe that we're on course.
General, in recent times we've seen the emergence of the son of the founder, Mohammed Yusuf, the son being Abu Musab al-Barnawi, 24 years old. He seems to be presenting a gentler face to Boko Haram, and at least in his relationship with the public. In view of what we've heard lately about his collection of taxes, his provision of basic services to those who are living in the spaces that he is, you know, overseeing, how do you counter that? Because when we talk about, you know, bringing the hard stick, other people are saying, well, look, where's the carrot? Are you balancing his methods with effective methods of your own?
Yes, of course, we are. And by the way, the information in the public space, wherein that claiming that al-Barnawi and his group, they are collecting taxes, that needs to be verified. Verified in the sense that currently we are conducting operations. We started from, you know, Doma, went to Gashiga, from Gashiga to Jabulam, Arege. We didn't find, there's no civilian there. So who are they collecting tax from? Of course, there are, within the Lake Chad Islands itself, for those who go fishing, yes, of course, we have information as to the mode of operation of the Boko Haram terrorists themselves, and those who they give access to the Lake Chad waters to, you know, what they do. But that is not sufficient to assume that it's now more of a governance structure that they have in the neighborhood of what is reported in the public space. But beyond that, on our path, what we do is to ensure that we tie issues of winning hearts and minds to our operations. So that, of course, not only is it done within the towns and villages that we maintain presence, we equally do it in the various IDP camps. Then we not only do that, we ensure that those places that we have occupied or that we occupy, that no intruder of some sort, of course in this case from the Boko Haram side, that is allowed to take advantage of the sad situation that you find those who have been displaced, for them to begin to reorient them to begin to support their activities. So we have a humanitarian support services that we conduct as part of our operations from the meager resources that we have, which of course also tied to the three-pronged mandate of the Multinational Joint Task Force, providing humanitarian support services and even facilitating the delivery of aid from other aid actors within our operations area.
One of the controversies that has come up during the course of this counterinsurgency operation has been the conduct of the civilian joint task force, the local militia, the boys that are being armed. Now, as we understand it today, we're looking at between 25,000 and 30,000 that comprise the local militia, these boys who are being armed, in part by the Borno state government, in part by the Nigerian military. What is your assessment in terms of how those boys are actually effectively managed and inculcated into your official operations?
Well, I'm not sure if the Nigerian military is part of those arming the civilian joint task force.
But certainly you're aware of the arming.
Of course,
yes.
I'm aware that they carry arms, just like you could have vigilantes and the hunters carrying arms. In fact, the civilian joint task force, as far as I know, have been served in the Lafia Doli for a long time. Many of them are also hunters. Yes, of course, the Borno state government have given a lot of support, huge support. We for the national forces this time around, Operation Lafia Doli has a lot of relationship with the civilian joint task force. But we do not deal. We are the multinational joint task force. We do not deal with the civilian joint task force. We have no relationship with them. We are only concerned with the formed forces from the troops contributing countries. So, but then I think they are effective, they are useful, and I also think that post-insurgency, such arrangement, in my view, should also be in place. But of course, there must be regulatory frameworks that we enhance, that we guide their operations so that they do not go beyond the limits of the law, and then creating another different problem in the future.
How long is this Operation Amnifacat going to take?
The operation has been planned for 90 days. We're well into it, almost halfway. And but again, it's not just a one-off operation. It's all because of its size and comprehensiveness. That's the reason why it's been seen the way it is. But
so 90 days from when?
90 days from, of course, that operation was flagged off. I flagged it off on the 5th of April. But again, there are other operations that are planned, which will be more or less successive to Operation Amnifacat, in order not to create a law. What we have observed in the past is that each time we finished a major operation, then of course, because of the weather conditions and the operating environment, then of course we take our time to rebuild, and then that we have also assessed or observed that it does create a law that give the advantage to the Boko Haram terrorism cell for them to be able to recoup. So that is a gap we intend to take out post Amnifacat.